What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. I'm always telling people, particularly brand new players that are very early in the game, to always use your abilities. Now, this is a tower defense game, of course, but it is an action defense game, meaning that if you get directly involved with your hero, you are going to see much more powerful results. Now, on that note, it is always so easy just to get kind of locked in on a ranged attack or, a hack and slash attack or whatever, and just use that. However, if you use your abilities and your primary attacks, you're going to get the most value out of your performance when you're just growing and learning the game. Now, first off, for starters, we've got two stats that go along with hero damage. These are going to be found on armor pieces, along with hero health, and those are hero damage and then ability power. Now, hero damage, of course, is referring to your primary attacks, so like on this Mystic, it would be my melee attack, or it would be my alternate fire ranged attack. By adding more hero damage, I am increasing the damage of those attacks. Now, next up we have ability power. Now, ability power is a stat that, you guessed it, affects your abilities. Meaning the higher the ability power stat, the more damage your abilities are going to do. Now, as you get towards endgame and you start min-maxing, you can really pick and choose between what playstyle you enjoy the most and how you want to set your hero up. However, one thing that is true with every hero is very early game, their abilities are extremely powerful. So this is that Mystic from my new Mystic hardcore playthrough, only level 15 at the moment. Very mixed set of gear. We've got a couple of pieces with hero health. We got one with hero damage, another with hero damage, then a weapon with ability power. So our stats are kind of all over the place. And it's very typical of what you would find as a brand new player when you're just a few maps into the game. So first off, if we look at our ranged attack. Now, the ranged attack is going to do slightly less damage on the Mystic than the melee attack does. But let's take a look and see if we just spam that ranged attack. Looks like we're right at about the 1500 DPS mark. It dipped as low as 14 and as high as 1600, but let's just call that 1500 damage per second. Now, when we switch over to our melee attack, we're going to get a little bit of an improvement on that. You see we're right around the 2000 DPS mark. We went as high as 2500. And what, are we going to dip below 2,000 at all? It looks like we're not going to dip below 2,000 at all. So more like probably 2,200 on average for your DPS with your melee attack. Now, if you pick any of your abilities, particularly ones that are spammable, assuming you have the resource, and you add that into your rotation, you're going to see a nice damage increase. So, for example, let's get our secondary attack or our alternate fire going. This is a primary attack, so it scales off hero damage. And once again, we're around that 1500 DPS mark. Now, our third ability here, we're going to throw a dagger and poison enemies. Let's add that into the rotation and see what we spike up to. Now, first off, instantly you see we've about doubled. However, it goes up as high as like 6,000 DPS for adding in that ability. So we got a huge damage increase just for adding that ability in. This is going to be super helpful for you when it comes to killing any of the mini bosses. So when you start seeing those first ogres coming out, this is going to give you a fairly sizable damage increase over just using your regular attacks. Now, I, for one, am a big fan of ranged heroes, and I love to sit back and pew. However, until you get some fine-tuned set of gear, which isn't going to come until much later in-game, and you really get the proper shards and everything set up for that specific attack, you are just going to benefit by using everything. So use your abilities, spam them up, use your primary attacks as well, and of course, the more shards you get and the more gear you get, the more you can rely on just using your defenses to get the job done for you as you climb up through the progression in Dungeon Defenders 2. So just a real quick note on why I'm always saying spam your abilities, y'all. And that is, it's just free power. You're going to get a lot more power out of it if you use your entire kit. So use everything you have. Once you get all the proper shards you need and you get a proper build set up, then you are going to start seeing a lot more power in the areas that you want to focus on specifically. But hopefully this helps you out for your brand new and or early game progression. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.